Welcome everyone. So far in this module, we have learned the switch statements. We talked about all the details of the switch statement. And the last thing we need to learn in this module is the ternary operator. So let's talk about the ternary operator. So when we first covered the operators, we stated that the operators are categorized into three main categories in Java. One is unary operators, and then we have the binary operators, and lastly, the ternary operators. Okay. So the ternary operators are special version of the if and else statements, or also known as the shorter version of the if and else statement. And the ternary operators, they provide a way to conditionally assign a value based on a Boolean expression. So most of the time, ternary operator is used for returning a value and storing it into a specific type of variable. Okay, it will return a value based on the Boolean expression. And it enables us to write a short and concise codes by using ternary. Okay, and it is not recommended for the complex statements. If you have basic if statements that are taking long lines of codes and every single block of the if statement is returning a value, then you could use the ternary. But if you have some complex if statement, and let's say you have multiple code fragments in every single blocks of the if statements, okay, then it's not recommended to use the ternary. And here's the syntax of the ternary. In the ternary, you use this question mark as your if keyword, and the condition needs to be given within the parentheses, and it needs to be placed before the question mark. Those parentheses are optional in the ternary, but in order to make your ternary to be more readable, it is recommended for you to give the parentheses as well for the conditions. Okay, it's better if you give the conditions within the parentheses. And if this condition is true, whatever the value that you want the if block to return, you will place that value after this question mark. Okay. And if you want to give the else keyword, you will use this column. Okay, column means else keyword. And whatever the value the else keyword needs, else block needs to return, you will give that value after this column. So every single block in the ternary, they must return a value, same type of value. And once it returns the value, you could assign it to a variable. And when you are using the ternary, you have to make sure that the total number of the columns and question marks must be equal. Otherwise, it will give you compile error. So it's better to count the total number of the questions and columns that you have used in the ternary. Okay, so let's do some practices with the ternary. In this practice task, you are required to write the program that can determine if the person is eligible to vote. So this task, we have completed it before. If the age of the person is greater or equal to 18, the output should be you are eligible to vote. Otherwise, the output should be you are not eligible to vote. So please create a new class under the package module 15. Name it ternary vote. Okay. Please create this class now. And this is how we completed this task before. We used the if and else statement. And every single block was giving me string value. String value, I stored it into the string variable result. Okay. I got this string from the if block, and I got this string from the else block, and I stored it into the variable result. And only one of those blocks gets executed. So if I run this program at the end, only one of those data will be stored into the string. And after the execution of this if and else block, when I print the string variable result, it printed me you are eligible to vote because this was the given age, right? And now, I could shorten those 5-6 lines into one line by using ternary. Since this if statement is a simple if statement, not a complex one, and every single block is returning same type of value, that means that if statement, it can be converted into the ternary. Okay. Again, there are two preconditions in order to use ternary instead of if statement. So the if statement must be must be basic if statement, not the complex if statement, meaning that there shouldn't be more than one statements in every single block of the if statements. Okay, and the value that is returning from every single block of the if statement needs to be same type. Then you could use the ternary. Okay, so if I use ternary, I could shorten those lines into one line. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I can convert this if statement to the ternary. So ternary, at the end, it will return me a value. In order to store that value into the variable, I could use this variable. Okay, and I will use the ternary to assign the value to this variable. So this if keyword in the ternary, it's given by using this question mark. And then this Boolean expression in ternary, it needs to be given before the question mark. Okay, so this is our if condition in the ternary. And whatever the value that you need to return when this condition is true, that needs to be given after this question mark now. So this is our if condition. When this if condition is true, I need to make sure that this value needs to be assigned to the string variable result. So this is my value. Okay, so this is the if block, you see. And after this if block, we have this else block, right? Would that be okay if I just ended by using this semicolon? Now it's giving me this compile error because when you move the mouse over, it says the colon is expected. That's because when you use the ternary, the total number of the question mark and columns must be even. Okay, they must be equal. Otherwise, you will end up getting compile error. So this is our if block. After the if block, we have the else block that we need to give. And in the ternary, I will use this column as my else block. And whatever the value that needs to be returned from the else block to store to the to assign to the variable result, I will give it after this column. Okay. So the meaning of this ternary is when this condition is true, assign this value to the variable result. Otherwise, assign this value to the variable result. Okay. So you see, now this 6 lines of code has been shortened into one line with the help of ternary. Since this code fragment, I don't need it now, I could just delete it, take it out. With ternary, it becomes much more shorter this time. Okay. And now let's take a look at another practice task. This is also one of the practice tests that we have completed before by using the if statements. A number will be given to you. You need to identify if the number is 0, negative, or positive. Okay. So for this second task, please create a new class under the package module 15. Name it ternary number. Okay. Ternary number. So this is how this task could be completed by using the if statements. So in every single one of those if block, I could get the string data and then store it into this variable result. I declare the string variable result because I want this variable to contain the result of positive, negative, or 0. And those blocks in this if statement are used for assigning the value to the string variable result. And is this a complex if statement? No, because every single block, it only contains one code fragment, right? And the data type of every single code block and the value of every single code block that is returning, they are having the same data type. This is a string, and so is this one. Which means this if statement can be shortened by using the ternary. Okay? So now I am going to comment out this part. And then I will use the ternary. I will try to convert this multi-branch if to the ternary. Okay. So ternary at the end, it will return you a value, means the value can be stored into the variable. I want to return string value from the ternary, so I declare the string variable. And now I need to initialize this variable by using ternary. In the ternary, you always started with the if block. In ternary, this is my if keyword, and then the condition needs to be given before this question mark, right? And this time, let's try to write our if ternary without the without looking at the if statements. Okay. So this is my if condition. If this condition is true, the result should be positive. Okay. This is my if block. And next, I need to give my else if block. See, in the else if block, you have the else keyword and then you have the if keyword, right? So how do I give the else if those keywords in ternary? This is else, this is if. Okay? And the condition, it must be placed before this question mark in the ternary. Every single time in the ternary, the conditions needs to be placed before this question mark. Okay? So here, within this parenthesis, I can give my conditions if the number is less than 0. So this is my else if condition now. If this else if condition is true, that means the returning value should be negative. Okay? Or next time, if you are having some hard time to identify which one is else if block in ternary, this is the hint that you can look at. Whenever you see this sad face in ternary, that means it is the else if block. So when this else if condition is true, it will return us negative. Now, would that be okay if I end this ternary by using this semicolon? See, right now you have two question marks and you only have one column. In ternary, the number of question marks and columns, they must be even. Okay? So next, I need to give the last block, which is the else block. So this is our else block. That means it is 0. Okay? And then after you're done with the ternary, then you will use the semicolon to end the ternary. So this is our if block. Okay, this is our if this condition is true, it will return positive and assigns it to the string variable result. If this condition is not true, but the second else if condition is true, then it will assign the negative to the string variable result. Otherwise, it will assign 0 to the string variable result. And then I can use this result in my concatenation to display number is, and then concatenate the result afterwards. So if I run this program, now you see it printed the number is negative. But if the number was positive number, then this if condition would be true and it would print number is positive. And if it is 0, then it would print number is 0. So you see, the 7-8 lines of code now is shortened into one line. Earlier, when we were using multi-branch if, it was taking multiple lines, right? But I just converted it into the ternary. But again, not every single if statement you can just directly replace it with the ternary. Only the if statements that are not complex, and if the if statement every single blocks are returning same type of value, then you could use the ternary instead. Okay. And here are the few key takeaways from this module. So we learned the switch statement. We stated that switch statement's expression must be a value of byte, short, int, char, or string, or any enum types. Okay. And those case value must have the same data type as the value of the switch statement's expression. So whatever the value that you pass in switch statement's expression, case value has to match. Okay. And after the first match, the statement executes until there is a break statement or it reaches the closing curly brace of the switch. Meaning that if you don't give the break statement, the next case block would continue to be executed until it reaches another break statement or the closing curly brace of the switch. And we also did couple practices with the lambda arrow within the switch statement's body. When you use the lambda arrow, then you wouldn't need to give the break statement. But when you use the lambda arrow, if there is going to be more than one code fragment in the case block's body, then you have to give those code fragments within the curly braces. Okay, and the ternary operators, they are the shorter version of the if statements. Only the non-complex if statements could be written in the ternary. But again, ternary operators are not recommended for complex statements. Okay. And ternaries are not as much readable as the if statements are. But it is good to know that how to use the ternary. Thank you so much, everyone. See you all in the next video.